but you need to be better. We all need to be better. All right? Anyway, I believe that this team is the best team in football from top to bottom. With that being said, as a fan, I feel like they can beat anybody. I'm always going to look for ways that they can win and ways that they can get better. Stepping outside of my fandom, stepping outside of my body and looking at this on the outside looking in, I don't want to hear anything else about the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl and who they are and who they think they are. They haven't beat a good team all year. Their offense is looking anemic against every good team they played, except for Green Bay. If I'm not a fan, I've just got to keep it real. I'm not believing not 1 cent in this team. I'm not believing in Cap. I'm not believing in their ability to score points to win against a good team, and especially since it looks like all their playoff games would have to be on the road. I'm not believing in them one bit if I'm on the outside looking in. I wouldn't want to hear one damn thing about the San Francisco 49ers anymore this year. That's just a fact. So until they can go out, beat a good team, whether it's at home or on the road, put some points on the board, look like they have a pulse, I wouldn't want to hear from them. Simple as that. All right. So I can't be mad at people saying don't talk to me about the Niners. I can't be mad about that because I understand where they're coming from. They may be 100% right. So one thing that I feel they have to do with this team, at this point, the coaching staff, Colin Kaepernick, you guys need to get on the same page and be like, look, let's just let this guy go. Let's let him free. I understood earlier in the season, maybe you wanted to play it close to the vest. You know what I mean? You wanted to make sure he didn't get hurt. You wanted to make sure that you had him at full strength for when everybody got here. Well, what you got to do now is you got to let him go and just cross your fingers. Because the way this offense is and the way you got Cap's mind right now, second guessing himself, not being sure of himself, this ain't working. They ain't beating nobody. They ain't beating nobody elite this way. You got to let him go, let him be dynamic. Cap, you have to let go and you have to be dynamic. All right? Pull the trigger on these passes. Pull the trigger on the scramble. All right? Be the playmaker. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to get RG3'd by no means. And I'm not saying run Cap every down or anything like that. But you can't worry about that. You can't worry about that. You got to trust that this guy knows when to get down, knows when to get out of bounds, knows how to protect himself. Cap, as a passer, you got to trust that, hey, maybe I might throw a pick here. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can get my guy open. Something. Because right now you're just dying a slow death. You're just dying a slow death. You know what I mean? You're bleeding to death. Because you can be safe, and you can beat the Rams, and you can beat the Jaguars and the Titans, and you can do all this stuff. But when you go up against a real playoff team, there's nothing there. So let it go at this point. Just let it go. Let's just let it go. See if we can capture that magic again, and see if we can ride that thing. Because the way it's going right now, this conservative shit, excuse my language, it just ain't working. It ain't working. All right. Man, about the game itself, there were a couple big plays that stood out to me. On the first drive, they actually did look like they had a pulse. Cap almost threw a pick, by the way. But they looked like they had a pulse. Cap was making passes. They were moving the chains a little bit. Then they got to a 3rd and 1 on the first drive, and we were stopped. Frank Gore was stopped with they tried to do a Stanford heavy set, and, they just ate that up on 3rd and 1, forced a field goal. On the second drive, you almost had the same situation. We're kind of moving the ball again, doing some good things. We got to a 3rd and 2. They did that heavy set thing again. And Frank was stopped again for a -1 yard gain. That was huge. That was huge. They have to keep them chains moving. I think they can't be so predictable. Like I always say, you can't always just heavy set it and try to maul people, especially a defense like Carolina. That's not going to work all the time. All right. Sometimes you got to be dynamic. Sometimes you gotta make people think. Carolina didn't have to think when you're in that heavy set. They knew what was coming and they were prepared for it. So, look. These guys, Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh, look, with all due respect, you guys have forgotten more football than I know. I understand that, okay? And you guys have access to a lot of different things that none of us do. You know what I mean? So I understand that. I'm not telling you how to coach. I'm being an armchair quarterback, an armchair offensive coordinator right now. I understand that. But some of this stuff I think it's valid. It's valid. We got to be a little more dynamic. We can't be as predictable. I'll put it to you like this. I can't know what we're going to do. As somebody sitting at home, I just admitted I'm not a football coach or whatever. If I know what we're going to do, what do you think the other football people think are thinking out there? You know what I mean? Look at it that way. Not that I'm telling you what to do, but if I know what's going to happen, if I can call what's going to happen, what do you think some football people are thinking? They really know. Be dynamic. Keep people on their toes. All right? Another big play was they went up 9-0, and they had Cam shook in the first half of the game. Like, Cam was shook. He was not ready for what the Niners defense was bringing to him. And that Niner defense was really good. All right? Really, really good. And they had a 3rd down and 10, I think it was. And it was deep in Carolina territory, maybe at the 20, 25 or something like that. And they let Cam off the hook. He completed that 3rd down, and he wasn't great after that, but he at least believed after that. And they let him off the hook. I really believe if they find a way to stop him on that 3rd down, they might go in and score again. And at the very least, that was their touchdown drive. They wouldn't have scored 7 at that point. I don't think they would have scored 7 the rest of the game. So, just plays that you kick yourself about. I missed a couple fumble recoveries. Yeah. Just little things here and there that they got to shore up. They're better than that. Niners are better than how they played offensively on Sunday. They're better than that. So, like I said, lots of blame to go around here. But at the end of the day, this may sound crazy to some that don't understand it. And I'm saying it a little tongue-in-cheek, but a little serious. We're all in this together. I'm not here to point fingers, so to speak, and keep pointing them. I said what I had to say. I got things off my chest. But Cap is my quarterback. I believe in my quarterback. I believe in what he can do. I've seen it. I believe it. Okay? Anquan Bolden, I've seen you do it for your whole career. I've seen you do it with the San Francisco 49ers. I believe in what you can do. I need him to be better. Offensive line. I've seen what you got done for the last 3 years, last 3 seasons. I believe in what you can do. I believe you can be better. You need to get better. Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh goes without saying who you guys are. I've seen you guys do it for the last 3 years. I've seen you do it at Stanford. I know you guys can be better. I know you will be better. I know you're working hard. Let's go out here and get it done. Let's go out here and get it done. We got a tough game against New Orleans. And the frustrating part about this Carolina loss is, I looked at this New Orleans game at the beginning of the season as a loss. That's a tough game. You know what I mean? I counted that as one of the losses. As the season went on, I felt like it was a game that they definitely could win. They definitely run on New Orleans, and they definitely match up well against them. They definitely can stop New Orleans' run, control the pace of the game, control the tempo. That's tough without Vernon Davis. I really don't believe this team wins without Vernon Davis until I see it happen. So I see them play a better game without Vernon Davis. I can't believe that they can win. I don't know what's going to happen in this game this Sunday. Like I said, need Vernon. I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't think him or Eric Reed are going to play. And with the whole concussion thing, maybe they shouldn't play. They need to control the time of possession. They need to control the pace of the game. Running the football, stopping the run, not letting Drew Brees even on the field. You know what I mean? The best defense for him is to keep him off the field as much as possible. I have no clue what's going to happen in New Orleans. I just know that I think these guys are going to come out a little more focused, and I believe they'll play better. I believe they'll play better offensively. Defense did their thing. I think they'll be up to the challenge, and I think they'll play better. Once again, that may be 49er fan in me talking, but I think they'll play better. I think they'll come to play. I know one thing, I'll be watching, so I'll have to check that out. I got about 5.5 minutes to get through the rest of the things that I wanted to talk to and get off the 49ers. I must say, I do feel better after getting this off my chest. I feel more at peace. It's like a players meeting. It's like calling a players only meeting, calling a team meeting. Got it off your chest. You feel better. You remind everybody that, hey, we're in this together. You guys are my teammates. And we move on. We iron everything else. So I feel better. In the rest of the NFL last week, Week 10, you had the Bears losing a bad one at home against Detroit. Cutler shouldn't have played, or he shouldn't have played at all. But once you saw he couldn't move, he should have pulled him out, brought McCown in. Did that too late. Shout out to the Jags and the Bucks getting their first wins of the season. Cowboys got drugged by the Saints on Sunday Night Football. Cowboys defense is atrocious, and they just lost Sean Lee for about 3 to 4 weeks after getting DeMarcus Ware back. So who knows what's going to happen there. And speaking of the NFC East, Giants and Eagles both get wins. What's going on there? Are these guys getting into the fold? It's the NFC East sucks. It sucks. So, but it's going to be an interesting race to see who comes out of there. This week, big games on the slate. Ravens at Bears. It's pretty much an elimination game if you ask me. Loser might be done for the playoffs. And it might be a little more crucial to Chicago than it is to Baltimore. But it's a big game either way. Both teams got to win this game. Chiefs at Denver. First real test for Kansas City going into Denver. By the way, I think the Bears win that game against the Ravens. First real test for the Chiefs going into Denver. And I think Denver's going to put some work on them. That Chiefs defense is for real, but I think Denver's going to put some work on them this week. I think they beat them by about 10 to 14 points. And then a big Monday night game. The Panthers feeling really good about themselves. That defense is really good. The front seven is really good. I think, I think the Niners could have done a little more and could have put a little more work in them, but I got to show respect. That Panthers defense is solid, and they're going to be rocking Monday night at home against New England. So, I think Carolina wins that game. I think they win that game. That's going to be the biggest game in years in Carolina. So, it's going to be a good little atmosphere. NCAA, real quick. Last week you had Stanford beating Oregon, Baylor beating Oklahoma, and Alabama beating LSU. In the big games. Big games this week. You got number 25 Georgia going up against number 7 Auburn. Georgia's starting to get a little healthier now, so they might pose a little bit more of a threat. But I still think Auburn holds on, and I really want to see Auburn at home in the Iron Bowl against Alabama the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So I'm hoping Auburn wins. The other big game, number 4 Stanford goes to a resurgent USC in a big Pac-12 matchup. This is big. SC is looking good right now after getting rid of Lane Kiffin, and maybe that's all they needed. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Stanford can keep their slim national championship hopes alive, but at the very most, they're trying to keep their Pac-12 championship hopes alive, and that's going to be a good game Saturday night. Also Saturday night, little boxing. Andre Ward steps back into the ring for the first time in a little more than over a year against Edwin Rodriguez. Andre Ward is top 3, top 4 pound for pound in the game right now. Some might even say top 2, Floyd and then him. So it's good to see him back in the ring, and hopefully he handles Edwin Rodriguez, and that leads to a big matchup right after this. Andre Ward has put in the time, and he's been patient enough. Now it's time to cash in. I'd like to see him win this one easy, and then go on face a Triple G or a Chavez Jr. in his next fight and make it a mega fight. Let's get it done. Everybody check that out. That's HBO this weekend. So, I feel good. I appreciate you guys coming in, checking in, and listening to me. Niner fans, we're gonna ride through this together. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna sit there and hope they figure it out. All right, so hopefully I'm a little more upbeat when I talk to everybody next week. You can play that music now. Let's ride out. Collard Greens. Be good. Peace.
I'm the game rap, X-Miss, more shots I deliver, faded.